She never imagined that falling asleep on a stranger's shoulder would change her life forever, or that a single folded note would unlock feelings she'd sworn to bury. Amara had built walls so high that no one could hurt her again. But Daniel saw through every brick, every fear, every scar left by the man who destroyed her trust. Just when she thought she'd found something real, her past came crawling back with lies that threatened to tear them apart, and suddenly she was standing at a crossroads. Run like she always did, or fight for the love that terrified her most. What happened next would either prove that broken people can heal together, or that some walls are meant to stay standing. If you've ever been scared to love again, subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from, because this story is about to show you what happens when you choose courage over fear. The airplane cabin smelled like recycled air and someone's leftover sandwich. Amara Lewis shifted in her window seat, trying to find a comfortable position. Her body ached from the long day of meetings. Her mind buzzed with 1,000 worries that wouldn't quiet down. The flight attendant's voice crackled over the speaker. "We'll be departing shortly. Please ensure your seatbelts are fastened." Amara buckled up and closed her eyes. Maybe sleep would come easy tonight. Maybe her brain would finally give her some peace. She heard movement beside her, someone settling into the middle seat. She didn't look, didn't want to make small talk with a stranger. All she wanted was to get home to her small apartment, her soft bed, and maybe a pint of ice cream. The plane taxied down the runway. The engines roared to life. Within minutes they were airborne, climbing through the darkness toward whatever destination awaited them. Amara pulled her cardigan tighter around her shoulders. The cabin was always too cold. She tucked her hands under her arms and tried to drift off. 20 minutes into the flight, turbulence hit. The plane bucked and swayed. Amara's stomach dropped as they hit an air pocket. The seatbelt light dinged on. More bouncing. The cabin tilted left, then right. Her eyes flew open. Her heart hammered in her chest. "It's okay," a voice said beside her, low and calm. "Just some rough air. Should pass soon." She glanced over at the man in the middle seat. Even in the dim cabin light, she could see his face. Strong jaw, kind eyes. White guy, maybe early 30s. He gave her a small, reassuring smile. "I hate turbulence," she admitted, gripping the armrest. "Most people do." He had an easy way about him. Relaxed. Like the shaking plane didn't bother him at all. "Try closing your eyes. Sometimes that helps." She did, but the bouncing continued. Her shoulder knocked against his as the plane dipped again. "Sorry," she muttered. "You're fine." The turbulence went on for another 10 minutes. Then, just as suddenly as it started, it stopped. The plane leveled out. The cabin grew quiet again except for the steady hum of the engines. Amara's body relaxed. Her exhaustion came flooding back, heavier than before. Her head felt like it weighed 100 pounds. She leaned back against her seat, eyes closing again. She didn't mean to fall asleep. She definitely didn't mean to lean sideways. But somewhere between the turbulence ending and her body giving in to fatigue, Amara's head drifted to the right. Soft fabric brushed her cheek. Something solid and warm supported her temple. The stranger's shoulder. She was too tired to care, too worn out to feel embarrassed. Sleep pulled her under like a wave, and she let it. Daniel Hart felt the weight of her head against his shoulder and smiled to himself. He'd noticed her the moment she sat down. Beautiful brown skin, natural hair pulled back in a low bun, an air of quiet strength mixed with something else. Weariness, maybe, or sadness. She'd kept to herself, hadn't even glanced his way. He understood. Red-eye flights weren't for making friends. They were for surviving until morning. But when the turbulence hit and he saw the fear flash across her face, something in him wanted to help, wanted to ease that worry, even if just a little. Now she slept against him, breathing softly. Her face looked peaceful, younger somehow, without all that tension. Daniel didn't move, didn't want to wake her. He could handle a stiff shoulder for a few hours if it meant she got some rest. He pulled out his notebook from his bag, careful not to jostle her, and started writing. Words came easily in the quiet darkness. Lines about chance meetings, about small moments that meant more than they should. After a while he tore out a page, folded it carefully, set it on his tray table where she'd see it when she woke. Morning light filtered through the window shade. Amara's eyes fluttered open slowly. Her neck ached. Her mouth felt dry. For a moment, she didn't know where she was. Then it hit her. The plane, the stranger, the shoulder. She sat up fast, her hand flying to her mouth. Oh my God! The middle seat was empty. Panic fluttered in her chest. Had she really slept on some random man's shoulder for hours? Heat rushed to her cheeks. Where was he? Did he move seats because she'd been so weird? Then she saw it, a folded piece of paper on her tray table. Her hands trembled slightly as she picked it up. The handwriting was neat, almost artistic. Sometimes the best journeys start by accident. D. Her heart did a strange little flip. She read it again, then a third time. Each word felt deliberate, thoughtful, like he'd meant something more than just a polite note. The flight attendant's voice came over the speaker. "We'll be landing in approximately 15 minutes. Amara looked around the cabin, searching. Where did he go? She needed to thank him, needed to apologize for basically using him as a pillow. She tucked the note into her purse and waited impatiently for the plane to land. The moment the seatbelt sign turned off, Amara unbuckled and stood. Her carry-on bag bumped against her leg as she scanned the aisle. There, near the front. Tall guy with brown hair, wearing a grey jacket. "Excuse me," she said to the woman blocking her path. "Sorry, I just need to—" But people were already crowding the aisle. Everyone wanted off. Everyone pushed forward in that cramped shuffle toward the exit. By the time Amara made it to the front of the plane, he was gone. She hurried through the jet bridge, her bag bouncing against her hip. The terminal was packed with travelers, business people on phones, families with strollers, tour groups clustered around their guides. No sign of him. She stood on her toes, searching over the crowd. Nothing. He'd vanished like smoke. Her chest tightened with disappointment. She didn't even know his last name. Just D. Could be David, Dylan, Derek, Daniel. "Get it together, Amara," she muttered to herself. He was just a nice stranger, that's all. But her hand kept touching her purse where the note sat folded. Those words kept echoing in her mind. Sometimes the best journeys start by accident. She made her way to baggage claim, still half looking for him. The carousel started moving. Bags tumbled down the chute. Black suitcase, navy duffel, pink roller bag. There. Her brown suitcase with the yellow ribbon tied to the handle. Amara grabbed it and headed toward the exit, her hope fading with each step. The taxi line stretched forever. Amara stood behind a family with 3 kids and approximately 700 pieces of luggage. She checked her phone. 2 missed calls from Maya. 3 texts asking when she'd land. "Just got my bag," she typed back. "Waiting for a cab. Be there soon." Amara. Her head snapped up. It was him, standing 3 people ahead in line, looking back at her with that same calm smile. Her heart jumped. "Hi, I was looking for you on the plane." He stepped out of line and walked back toward her. Up close in the daylight, she could see him better. Green eyes, a small scar above his left eyebrow, the kind of face that made you want to keep looking. "I didn't want to wake you," he said. "You seemed like you needed the sleep." "I'm so sorry about that." She felt her cheeks warm. "I didn't mean to just crash on you like that. Don't apologize. I'm glad you got some rest." He gestured to her purse. "Did you find my note?" "I did." She couldn't help but smile. "It was really sweet. Thank you. I meant it." His eyes held hers. Sometimes the best things happen when we're not planning them. The line moved forward. They both shuffled ahead with everyone else. "I'm Amara, by the way," she said. "Daniel." He extended his hand. She shook it. His grip was warm and firm. "So where are you headed, Amara?" "Home. Been away for work all week." "You?" "Same. I live here in the city." He paused. "Actually, I know this is forward, but would you want to grab coffee before we go our separate ways? There's a decent place just past the taxi stand." Her instinct was to say no, to protect herself, keep her walls up like always. But something about the note, about him, made her hesitate. "Just coffee?" she asked. "Just coffee. Promise." He smiled. "Besides, you can tell me if my shoulder made an acceptable pillow." She laughed, despite herself. "Okay, coffee sounds good." The airport cafe was nothing special. Small tables, fluorescent lights, the smell of burnt coffee and pastries that had seen better days. But sitting across from Daniel, Amara forgot about the uninspiring surroundings. "So what do you do?" she asked, wrapping her hands around her paper cup. "I'm a writer, freelance mostly. Some poetry, some articles." He shrugged like it was no big deal. "It pays the bills, sometimes." "Poetry?" She raised an eyebrow. "Really? Why do you sound surprised?" "I don't know. You just don't seem like the tortured artist type." He laughed. It was a good laugh, genuine. "Maybe I hide it well. What about you?" "Marketing consultant. I help small businesses figure out their brand strategy." She took a sip of coffee. It tasted terrible, but she didn't care. "Not as creative as poetry. I bet it's more stable." "True," she smiled. "My mom's happy about that at least." They talked easily, about work, about traveling, about how airports always felt like some weird in-between space where normal rules didn't apply. I write a lot in airports, actually, Daniel said. Something about the transient nature of it. Everyone's going somewhere. Everyone's leaving something behind. That's kind of beautiful. Amara meant it. The way you see things. Thanks. He looked down at his cup. Not everyone gets it. There was something in his voice, a hint of old pain. She recognized it because she carried her own. So tell me, Daniel said, changing the subject, what's waiting for you at home besides unpacking? My best friend Maya. She's probably already planning to interrogate me about my week. Amara grinned. And my couch. I've missed my couch so much. The important things in life. Exactly. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Outside the cafe window, travelers rushed past. Announcements echoed through the terminal. The world kept moving around them. But in that small space, time felt slower, softer. Daniel's phone buzzed. He glanced at it and sighed. My ride's here. Oh. Disappointment settled in her stomach. Yeah, I should probably get going too. They stood, gathered their bags, walked together toward the exit. At the sliding doors they stopped. This was nice, Amara said. The coffee, the conversation. It was. Daniel shifted his weight. Look, I know we just met, but I'd really like to see you again, if you're open to it. Her heart raced. The smart thing would be to say no, to leave this as a sweet memory and nothing more. She'd been hurt before. Badly. She'd promised herself she'd be more careful, but looking at Daniel, at his honest eyes and hopeful smile, something in her softened. Maybe we'll see each other again, she said, echoing his words from earlier. He grinned. I'll take that as a yes. They exchanged a quick wave, and then he was gone, disappearing into a waiting car. Amara stood there for a moment, watching the car pull away. Her hand found the note in her purse again. Sometimes the best journeys start by accident. Maybe. Just maybe. Girl, you're glowing. Maya sat cross-legged on Amara's couch, a glass of wine in hand. Her dark locks fell over one shoulder. She wore an oversized sweatshirt that said, "Good vibes only" in sparkly letters. I am not glowing. Amara dropped her suitcase by the door. You absolutely are. What happened on that trip? Did you meet someone? Why would you assume I met someone? Because you have that look, that dreamy, far-away look that means something happened. Maya leaned forward. Spill. Now. Amara couldn't help but smile. She kicked off her shoes and collapsed onto the couch beside her best friend. Okay, so there was this guy on the plane. I knew it. It's not a big deal. We just talked. Uh-huh. And nothing. He was nice. He gave me his shoulder to sleep on during the flight. Wrote me a sweet note. We had coffee at the airport. Maya's eyes went wide. He wrote you a note. Let me see it. Amara pulled the folded paper from her purse. Maya snatched it and read aloud. Sometimes the best journeys start by accident. She clutched her chest dramatically. Oh my God, that's romantic. What's his name? Daniel. Is he cute? Very. Did you get his number? Amara's face fell. No. We just kind of said goodbye. Amara! Maya threw a pillow at her. What is wrong with you? I don't know. It happened fast and I wasn't thinking. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table. Both women stared at it. Well, Maya said. Answer it. Amara picked up her phone. An unknown number, a text message. Hope you got home safe. Daniel. Her heart stopped, then started again, faster. Oh my God, she whispered. Maya grabbed the phone from her hands, read the message, screamed, literally screamed with joy. How did he get your number? Maya demanded. I have no idea. This is fate, Amara, fate. You have to text him back. What do I say? Say yes to whatever he's asking. Say yes to dinner. Say yes to marriage. Say yes to... Maya, stop! But Amara was laughing, really laughing. For the first time in months, something felt light in her chest, hopeful. She took her phone back and typed carefully. Made it home. Thanks for checking. And for the note. Amara, she hit send before she could overthink it. 3 dots appeared immediately. He was typing. I'm glad. Would you want to meet for coffee again? Real coffee this time, not airport coffee. Maya read over her shoulder and squealed. Say yes. Amara's thumb hovered over the keyboard. That old fear crept in, the voice that said, don't trust this, he'll hurt you. Everyone hurts you. But another voice, quieter, newer, whispered, what if this time is different? I'd like that, she typed. When? The seaside cafe sat right on the pier. Wooden planks stretched out over the water. Seagulls called overhead. The smell of salt and fried food filled the air. Amara arrived 10 minutes early. She'd changed outfits 3 times, settled on jeans and a yellow blouse that Maya said made her skin look absolutely gorgeous. She ordered a latte and sat at a table overlooking the ocean. Waves rolled in, steady and sure. The afternoon sun painted everything gold. "Hey," she looked up. Daniel stood there in jeans and a blue button-down, sleeves rolled to his elbows. He held 2 coffees. "I didn't know if you'd ordered yet," he said, "so I got you one just in case." "I did, but thank you." She accepted the cup anyway. "This is much better than airport coffee." "Told you." He sat across from her. "This place has the best view in the city. It's beautiful." They fell into conversation easily, like they'd known each other for years instead of days. He told her about his writing routine. She told him about her most difficult clients. They laughed, they listened. The coffee went cold, forgotten. "Want to walk?" Daniel asked eventually. "Sure." They left the cafe and strolled down the pier. The boards creaked beneath their feet. Fishermen lined the railings with their poles. A street musician played guitar somewhere in the distance. "So," Daniel said, hands in his pockets, "tell me something real about you. Something you don't usually share." Amara's guard went up. "That's a big question." "I know, but I'm genuinely curious. Not about the surface stuff. About you." She thought about brushing it off with a joke, but something in his eyes, that openness, that sincerity, made her want to try. "I'm scared of trusting people," she said quietly. "I used to be more open, but I got hurt, badly, and now I keep everyone at arm's length." Daniel nodded slowly. "I get that. Do you?" "Yeah." He stopped walking and turned to face her. "I was with someone for 3 years, thought we'd get married. Then I found out she'd been lying to me about basically everything. Where she went, who she was with, what she wanted. I'm sorry. It's been a while, but it left a mark, you know? Made me question my judgment." "Exactly." Amara felt her chest loosen. Someone understood. "That's exactly it." They started walking again. The sun dipped lower on the horizon, painting the water orange and pink. "But I don't want to let one bad experience ruin every possibility," Daniel said. "That would be like never getting on a plane again because of turbulence." She smiled at the callback. "Is that why you weren't bothered on the flight?" "Maybe, or maybe I'm just good at hiding it." He glanced at her. "Everyone's scared of something, Amara. The question is whether we let that fear make our decisions for us." They reached the end of the pier. Daniel leaned against the railing, looking out at the vast ocean. Amara stood beside him, close enough that their arms almost touched. "Can I see you again?" he asked softly. Her heart raced. Every instinct screamed to protect herself, to say no, to run before she got hurt. But then she thought about his note, about their conversations, about how he'd listened to her fears without judging. "Yes," she said. "I'd like that." Daniel turned to her and smiled. Then slowly, giving her time to pull away, he reached for her hand. His fingers brushed hers. Amara jerked back, startled by her own reaction, by how much such a small touch affected her. "Sorry," she breathed. It's okay." He held up his hands. "We can go slow." "Thank you." They stood there in the fading light, the ocean stretching endlessly before them. Something was starting between them, something fragile and new and terrifying. That night, Amara met Maya for dinner at their favorite Thai place. The restaurant was packed, loud with conversation and the clatter of dishes. "So?" Maya demanded the moment they sat down. "How was coffee?" "It was good. Really good." Amara couldn't stop the smile spreading across her face. "We walked on the pier, talked about real stuff. He held my hand. And I pulled away like a complete weirdo." Maya laughed. "Oh, honey, did you explain?" "He was really understanding about it. Said we could go slow." Amara picked up her menu. "He's different, Maya. He actually listens. He doesn't push. I'm happy for you." Maya's voice softened. "You deserve someone good. I'm trying not to overthink it." "Too late. You're definitely overthinking it." Amara laughed. "Probably." Her phone buzzed on the table. She glanced at the screen, expecting another sweet text from Daniel. But it wasn't Daniel. It was Marcus. "I'm in town. We should talk." The smile died on her face. Her stomach dropped like she'd hit turbulence again. "What's wrong?" Maya asked. Amara showed her the phone. Maya's expression hardened. "Absolutely not. Delete it. Block him. Don't even respond. He's probably just passing through." "Amara, listen to me." Maya reached across the table and grabbed her hand. "You're happy right now. You're glowing. You just met someone who makes you smile like that." She pointed at Amara's face. Don't let Marcus ruin this. He had his chance. He blew it. Multiple times. I know. Do you, because you've got that look? What look? The look that says you're considering giving him another chance because you're scared Daniel might hurt you too. Amara's throat tightened. Maya knew her too well. Daniel is not Marcus, Maya continued, and Marcus doesn't deserve one more second of your time or energy. You're right. Amara set her phone face down on the table. You're absolutely right. Say it like you mean it. You're right. Better. Maya squeezed her hand. Now let's order some pad thai and talk about literally anything else. But as they ate, as they laughed, as Maya told stories about her latest dating disasters, Amara couldn't completely shake the unease in her stomach. Marcus was in town, Daniel was in her life, and she had no idea what to do with either of those truths. Her phone buzzed again. She flipped it over, hoping for Daniel. It was Daniel, thinking about you. Sweet dreams, Amara. Something warm bloomed in her chest, something that felt a lot like hope. She typed back quickly. Sweet dreams, Daniel. Maya grinned across the table. There's that smile again. And for tonight, that smile was enough. The boardwalk stretched along the coast like a ribbon. Shops and restaurants lined one side. The beach sprawled out on the other, golden sand meeting blue water. Amara walked beside Daniel, their shoulders almost touching. It had been 3 days since the pier. 3 days of text messages. 3 days of her smiling at her phone like a teenager. I love this place, she said, watching a group of kids fly kites near the water. My family used to come here when I was little. Yeah? Daniel's hand brushed hers as they walked, not holding, just touching. What was little Amara like? Bossy, stubborn, always trying to organize everyone. She laughed. Some things never change. I bet you were adorable. I had these huge glasses and braces. Trust me, adorable is generous. They stopped at a small booth selling handmade jewelry. Amara picked up a bracelet made of tiny shells and sea glass. The colors caught the light, blues and greens and whites all swirled together. That's pretty, Daniel said. It is. She set it back down. Too expensive for something she didn't need. They continued walking. The afternoon sun warmed her skin. Seagulls circled overhead, crying out their sharp calls. The smell of salt and sunscreen filled the air. Daniel stopped suddenly, bent down and picked something up from the sand beside the boardwalk. Here, he held out his hand. A small seashell sat in his palm, white with hints of pink, perfectly intact, the kind you rarely found. It reminded me of you, he said. Strong but delicate. Beautiful. Amara's breath caught. No one had ever said something like that to her, at least not in a way that felt real. Thank you. She took the shell carefully. It was smooth and warm from the sun. I'll keep it. Good. They started walking again, but slower now, like neither wanted the afternoon to end. Can I ask you something? Daniel said. Sure. That text you got at dinner the other night, the one that made you go quiet, was it from your ex? Amara's stomach tightened. She tried not to think about Marcus, tried to focus on the good thing happening with Daniel. Yeah, she admitted. It was. Are you going to see him? No, she said it firmly. That's over. It's been over. Daniel nodded but didn't say anything else. They walked in silence for a moment, not uncomfortable but waited. I'm not still hung up on him, Amara added, if that's what you're worried about. I wasn't worried, just curious. He smiled. Everyone has a past. I get that. They reached the end of the boardwalk where the wooden planks gave way to rocks and wild grass. The ocean stretched out forever, endless and deep. Daniel turned to face her. The wind caught his hair. His eyes were serious now, searching hers. I really like you, Amara, he said quietly. I know it's fast. I know we barely know each other, but I can't stop thinking about you. Her heart hammered in her chest. I really like you too. Can I kiss you? She should say no, should slow down, should protect herself, but she didn't want to. Yes, she whispered. Daniel stepped closer. His hand came up to cup her cheek, gentle and sure. Then he leaned in. His lips met hers softly at first. Testing, asking permission. Amara leaned into him, and the kiss deepened. Waves crashed against the rocks below. The world fell away until there was nothing but this, his mouth on hers, his hand in her hair, the thundering of her heart. When they pulled apart, they were both breathing hard. Wow, Daniel said. Yeah. Amara couldn't stop smiling. Wow. So you're bringing him to meet your best friend already? Maya adjusted her earrings in the mirror. That's a big step. It's just lunch. Amara smoothed down her sundress. and you basically demanded to meet him. Because I need to make sure he's good enough for you. Maya turned around. You look gorgeous, by the way. Thanks. I'm nervous. Don't be. I'm going to love him. Probably. They were meeting Daniel at a small restaurant near the beach, the kind of place with outdoor seating and a menu that changed daily based on what was fresh. Amara spotted him waiting outside. He wore khaki pants and a white linen shirt. When he saw her, his whole face lit up. Hey, he kissed her cheek, then turned to Maya. You must be Maya. I've heard a lot about you. All good things, I hope. Maya shook his hand, sizing him up with sharp eyes. Mostly. Daniel grinned. They got a table on the patio overlooking the water. The server brought menus and glasses of ice water with lemon. So, Daniel, Maya said, leaning forward, what are your intentions with my best friend? Maya. Amara kicked her under the table. What? I'm just asking. Daniel laughed. Fair question. My intentions are to get to know her better, to make her smile, to earn her trust. Maya studied him for a long moment. Then she smiled. Good answer. Lunch was easy after that. They talked and laughed. Daniel told stories about his travels. Maya shared embarrassing moments from Amara's college days. The food was delicious, grilled fish and fresh vegetables and bread that melted in your mouth. I like him, Maya announced when Daniel went inside to use the restroom. He's good people. Really? Relief flooded through Amara. Really? Don't mess this up. I'm trying not to. I know, but stop overthinking everything. Just let yourself be happy. When Daniel came back, his phone was in his hand. My mom just texted. She wants to meet you. Amara's stomach dropped. Your mom? Yeah. I told her about you. She's protective, but she means well. He looked worried. Is that okay? We don't have to if you're not ready. No, it's fine. Amara forced a smile. I'd love to meet her. But inside, fear twisted through her chest. Meeting the mother. That felt serious. That felt real. That felt like something she could lose. Evelyn Hart's house was beautiful. A cottage-style home with a garden full of roses and a white picket fence. Very traditional. Very put together. Amara smoothed her dress as they walked up the path. She'd changed 3 times. Settled on something modest and professional, Maya had helped with her hair, pulling it back in a neat bun. You look perfect, Daniel whispered, squeezing her hand. She's going to love you. The front door opened before they could knock. A woman stood there, mid-50s, silver hair cut in a bob, dressed in a crisp blouse and slacks. Her blue eyes were the same shade as Daniel's. Mom. Daniel leaned in and kissed her cheek. This is Amara. Nice to meet you, Mrs. Hart. Amara extended her hand. Evelyn shook it. Her grip was firm, her smile polite but cool. Please come in. The inside was just as neat as the outside. Family photos lined the walls. Everything had a place. Nothing felt casual or relaxed. They sat in the living room. Evelyn offered tea, brought out cookies arranged perfectly on a china plate. So, Amara, Evelyn said, settling into her chair, Daniel tells me you work in marketing. Yes, ma'am. I help small businesses with their brand strategy. That sounds interesting. Evelyn's tone suggested it was anything but. And how long have you known my son? About 2 weeks. Evelyn's eyebrows raised slightly. 2 weeks? That's quite short. Mom, Daniel warned, I'm just making conversation, dear. Evelyn turned back to Amara. And what are your intentions? Are you looking for something serious, or is this casual? The question hit like a slap, polite on the surface, pointed underneath. I think we're just getting to know each other, Amara said carefully, taking things as they come. Evelyn sipped her tea. Daniel has been hurt before. I'm sure he told you. He mentioned it. Then you understand why I'm protective. A mother worries. Of course. Amara's hands were clenched in her lap. She forced them to relax. I would never want to hurt him. People rarely intend to hurt others, but it happens anyway. Evelyn's gaze was sharp, assessing. Tell me about your family. They talked for another 30 minutes. Every question felt like a test Amara wasn't sure she was passing. Where did she grow up? What did her parents do? Where did she see herself in 5 years? Daniel tried to steer the conversation toward lighter topics, but Evelyn kept circling back, probing, watching. By the time they left, Amara felt exhausted. I'm sorry, Daniel said as they walked to his car. She was more intense than usual. It's fine. It's not fine. She basically interrogated you. She's protecting you, I get it. Amara looked back at the house. Evelyn stood in the window, watching them leave. But I don't think she likes me. She doesn't know you yet. Give her time. But the uneasy feeling in Amara's stomach wouldn't go away. Evelyn Hart had looked at her like she was a problem to be solved, a threat to be managed, not like someone her son cared about. Daniel's apartment was small but cozy. Books everywhere. A desk by the window covered in notebooks and pens. Paintings on the walls, mostly landscapes and abstract pieces. "Welcome to my creative chaos," he said, clearing space on the couch. "I like it." Amara meant it. The place felt alive, full of thoughts and dreams. "Want something to drink?" "Water's fine." He disappeared into the kitchen. Amara wandered around the living room, looking at the books on his shelves. Poetry, literary fiction, books about travel and philosophy. A notebook sat open on his desk. She shouldn't look. She knew that. But curiosity pulled her forward. The handwriting was the same as the note from the plane, neat and flowing. The page was full of lines crossed out and rewritten, but one section stood out. "She builds her walls so carefully each brick a hurt she's buried deep, but walls keep out the bad and good, and love needs cracks to fully seep." Amara's throat tightened. He'd written about her, about the barriers she carried. "That one's new," Daniel said behind her. She turned, face flushed. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. It's okay." He set down 2 glasses of water. "I wrote it after our first walk on the pier, after you pulled away when I tried to hold your hand." "Daniel, I'm not judging you, Amara. I see you. I see how scared you are. But I also see how brave you are for trying anyway." He came closer. "You don't have to have it all figured out. Neither do I." She looked up at him. This man who'd written poetry about her walls, who'd given her time and space, who'd been patient when she pulled away. Before she could stop herself, she reached up and kissed him. This kiss was different from the boardwalk, deeper, more urgent. Weeks of walls crumbling in one moment. Daniel's hands found her waist, her fingers tangled in his hair. They stumbled back toward the couch, still kissing. The outside world disappeared. Nothing existed except this. His mouth, his hands, the feeling of finally letting someone in. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. "Stay for dinner," Daniel whispered against her lips. "I'll cook something terrible, and we'll laugh about it." "Okay," she smiled. "I'd like that." "You slept with him," Maya shrieked. "I didn't say that." Amara took a sip of her coffee. They were at their favorite cafe, the Monday morning rush swirling around them. "But you thought about it." "Maybe." Maya grinned. "Look at you finally letting your guard down. His mom hates me, though." "Forget his mom. Do you like him?" "I do." Amara traced the rim of her cup. "I really do. And that scares me." "Of course it does. Caring about someone is terrifying." Maya reached across the table. "But you can't let fear make your decisions. You deserve to be happy, Amara. You deserve someone who sees you and still chooses you. What if he changes his mind? What if I'm not enough? What if he doesn't? What if you are?" Maya squeezed her hand. "Stop borrowing trouble. Just enjoy this." "You're right. I'm always right." Maya sat back. "Now text him something flirty so I can live vicariously through you." Amara laughed and pulled out her phone. She typed, "Dinner tonight? My place this time." The response came almost immediately. "I'd love that. Should I bring wine?" "Just bring yourself." Maya read over her shoulder and made a dramatic swooning gesture. "You two are disgustingly cute." "I know." But Amara couldn't stop smiling. "I know." The beach was nearly empty at sunset. Just a few couples walking the shore, a dog chasing waves. Daniel had packed a picnic basket. Sandwiches, fruit, cheese, a bottle of wine. They spread a blanket on the sand and watched the sky turn orange and pink and purple. "This is perfect," Amara said, leaning back on her hands. "I wanted to do something special." Daniel poured wine into plastic cups. "To celebrate." "Celebrate what?" "Us. Whatever this is, however long it lasts." He handed her a cup. "To taking chances." "To taking chances." They clinked cups and drank. The wine was sweet. The air was warm. The ocean kept its steady rhythm, waves rolling in and out. "Tell me something," Daniel said. "If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?" "Italy. Definitely Italy." Amara didn't even have to think about it. "The art, the food, the history, I've always wanted to see it. We should go." Yeah. Maybe not tomorrow, but someday, when we both have time and money and courage." He grinned. "We could get lost in Rome, eat pasta until we can't move, drink wine in Tuscany." "That sounds like a dream." Most good things start as dreams. They ate as the sun sank lower, talked about their families, their hopes, the things that kept them up at night. "My dad left when I was 8, Amara heard herself saying, words she rarely shared. "Just walked out one day and never came back. My mom raised me alone, worked 2 jobs to keep us afloat. That must have been hard. It was. I think that's why I struggle with trust. I saw how much it destroyed my mom when he left, how long it took her to believe in anything again. She drew patterns in the sand with her finger. I promised myself I'd never let anyone have that kind of power over me. But walls don't just keep the pain out, Daniel said softly. They keep the joy out too. I know. She looked at him. That's what I'm learning. With you. I don't want to push you, Amara. We can go as slow as you need. What if I don't want to go slow anymore? The words came out before she could stop them. What if I'm tired of being scared? Daniel set down his wine, turned to face her fully. Then we'll be scared together. He kissed her as the last bit of sun disappeared below the horizon. Stars began appearing overhead, tiny points of light in the gathering dark. I don't want this to end, Daniel whispered against her lips. Then let's not let it. Amara pulled him closer. Not yet. The cafe was busy when Amara walked in. She'd come to meet Maya for lunch, but Maya was running late as usual. Amara ordered a latte and found a table near the window, pulled out her phone to check messages. Daniel had texted that morning, a photo of the sunrise with the caption, "Made me think of you." She was smiling at her screen when someone sat down across from her. "Hey, Amara!" Her head snapped up. Marcus, her ex-boyfriend, sat there like he had every right to. Same cocky smile, same expensive jacket, same eyes that used to make her heart race. Now they just made her stomach turn. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "I told you I was in town. Figured I'd find you eventually." He leaned back in his chair. "You look good." "Marcus, I don't have time for this. Come on, just give me 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking." She should leave, should walk out right now, but something kept her in her seat. Maybe curiosity, maybe the need for closure. "Fine, 5 minutes." "I messed up." He said it like it was easy, like those words fixed everything. "I know I hurt you. I know I wasn't what you needed. But I've changed, Amara. I've been working on myself. Good for you. I miss you. I miss us." He reached across the table for her hand. She pulled back. "There is no us. That ended when you cheated on me, when you lied for months. I made mistakes, but people can change. Don't you believe in second chances?" "Not for you." Her voice was firm. "I've moved on, Marcus." His expression shifted. Something cold flickered in his eyes. "Really? With who? That white guy I've seen you posting about? That's none of your business. It won't last, Amara. Guys like him don't stick around, they get bored. They find someone easier." He leaned forward. "But I'm here. I know you. I understand you. You don't know anything about me anymore. You're scared. You always run when things get real. How long before you push him away too?" The words hit like a punch, because part of her wondered the same thing. "Leave me alone, Marcus." She stood up, grabbing her purse. "Don't text me. Don't call me. We're done. You'll come back." He said it with such confidence. "You always do." "Not this time." She turned to leave, and nearly crashed into Daniel. He stood in the doorway, holding a bouquet of flowers. His face was unreadable as he took in the scene. Amara standing, Marcus sitting with that smug expression. Daniel, her heart dropped. "I was just having coffee with your ex." His voice was carefully neutral. "He showed up. I didn't invite him. Sure looked cozy from where I was standing. It wasn't, hey man." Marcus stood up, extending his hand. "You must be the new boyfriend. Marcus, the ex." Daniel didn't shake his hand. His eyes were on Amara, hurt and confusion swirling in them. "I brought you flowers," he said quietly. "Thought I'd surprise you." "Daniel, please, let me explain." "Explain what?" "That you're still in contact with him. That you lied about being done." "I didn't lie." Her voice rose. People were staring now. "I haven't talked to him. He just showed up. And you stayed to talk to him. For closure, that's all." Daniel shook his head, set the flowers on the nearest table. "I need some air." He walked out. Amara stood frozen, her chest tight, her eyes burning. "See?" Marcus said behind her. "Told you he wouldn't last." She whirled on him. "Shut up, just shut up. You don't get to do this. You don't get to ruin this for me." "I didn't ruin anything. You did. The moment you let me sit down." He was right. God help her, he was right. She grabbed her purse and ran after Daniel. She caught up to him 2 blocks away. He was walking fast, hands shoved in his pockets. "Daniel, wait!" He stopped, but didn't turn around. "Please," she said, breathless. "Let me explain." "What's there to explain, Amara? I walked in and saw you with him, sitting together, talking. He ambushed me. I swear I didn't plan this. But you stayed." Now he turned to face her. "You could have walked away the second he sat down, but you didn't. I needed closure. Did you get it?" She opened her mouth, closed it, because she wasn't sure. That's what I thought. Daniel's voice cracked. You told me it was over. You told me you'd moved on. But here we are. I have moved on. He doesn't mean anything to me anymore. Then why are you hesitating? He stepped closer. Why do you look so uncertain? Because she was. Because Marcus had tapped into her deepest fear, that she was the problem, that she'd push Daniel away eventually, that she wasn't capable of the kind of love he deserved. I'm scared, she whispered. I'm scared of messing this up, of you leaving, of proving him right. What did he say to you? That I always run, that I'll push you away, that guys like you don't stick around. Daniel's jaw clenched. And you believe him? I don't know. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Maybe. I don't know anything anymore. I have been nothing but honest with you. I've been patient. I've given you space. I've tried to show you that I'm not going anywhere. His voice shook. But I can't fight your ex and your fears and your walls all at once, Amara. I just can't. I'm not asking you to fight anything. I'm asking you to trust me. Trust goes both ways. And right now, I'm not sure you trust me at all. The words hung between them like broken glass. Daniel, I need some time to think. He took a step back. I'm sorry. I need time. He walked away. Amara stood on the sidewalk, watching him go, her heart breaking, her worst fears coming true. She'd finally let someone in, and now he was leaving. That night, Amara lay in bed staring at the ceiling. She'd called Maya, told her everything through tears. Maya had come over immediately with ice cream and tissues. He'll come around, Maya said, sitting on the edge of the bed. He just needs to cool down. What if he doesn't? What if this is it? Then you fight for him. You don't let this be the end. I don't know how. Yes, you do. You're the strongest person I know, Amara. You've survived worse than this. But it didn't feel that way. It felt like her heart was splitting in two. Her phone sat silent on the nightstand. No texts, no calls. She picked it up and opened her messages with Daniel. Scrolled through weeks of conversations. Sweet good mornings, late-night thoughts, photos and jokes and moments that had made her smile. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. I'm sorry, please let me explain, I miss you. She typed it, then deleted it. What was there to say that she hadn't already said? He asked for time. She had to give him that, even if it killed her. Across town, Daniel sat in his apartment in the dark. The notebook lay open on his lap, pages full of poems about her, about hope, about second chances. Now they felt naive, foolish. You thinking about leaving town? His mother's voice came through the phone. I don't know, Mom, maybe. Because of her. Because I don't know if I can do this again, get close to someone, let them in, just to get hurt. Daniel. Evelyn's voice softened. I know I was hard on her, maybe too hard, but running away won't fix anything. You were right, though, she's not ready. Or maybe she's exactly where she needs to be, fighting through her fears to be with you. What? I saw how she looked at you when she thought I wasn't watching. That girl is terrified. But she showed up anyway. That takes courage. Evelyn paused. Don't make the same mistake I did with your father. What do you mean? When things got hard, I pushed him away instead of fighting for us. I was too proud, too scared, and I lost him. Her voice cracked. Don't lose her because you're scared too. Daniel closed his eyes. I don't know if I can trust this. Trust isn't about being certain. It's about taking the leap anyway. They talked for another hour. When Daniel finally hung up, the apartment felt emptier than ever. He looked at his phone. No messages from Amara. Maybe she was respecting his request for space, or maybe she'd already given up. He stared at the ceiling, just like she was doing across town. Both of them alone, both of them hurting, both of them too scared to reach out first. 3 days passed, like 3 years. Amara went through the motions. Work, eating, sleeping. But nothing felt real. Everything felt grey and distant. Her phone stayed silent. No texts from Daniel, no calls, nothing. She kept replaying that moment outside the cafe. The hurt in his eyes. The way he'd walked away. How she'd stood there frozen instead of chasing after him harder. Marcus had texted twice more. She'd blocked his number without reading them, but the damage was done. You look terrible, Maya said, dropping onto the couch beside her. It was Friday night. They were supposed to be going out. Instead, Amara sat in sweatpants with unwashed hair. Thanks. I'm serious, Amara. You can't keep doing this. Doing what? Giving up. Sitting here feeling sorry for yourself. Maya grabbed the remote and turned off the TV. You need to fight for him. He asked for space. I'm giving him space. It's been 3 days. That's enough space. Maya turned to face her fully. Listen to me. If you walk away now, you'll regret it forever. You'll spend the rest of your life wondering what if. What if he doesn't want to hear from me? Then at least you tried, at least you fought. Maya's voice grew firm. Do you love him? The question hit Amara in the chest. Love. Did she love Daniel? I think I do, she whispered. Or I could, if I let myself. Then what are you doing here? Why aren't you out there telling him that? Because I'm terrified. The words came out broken. What if I mess it up again? What if I'm not enough? What if Marcus was right and I'll just push him away eventually? Amara Lewis. Maya grabbed both her hands. Marcus is a lying, cheating jerk who doesn't get to define your worth or your future. You are enough. You've always been enough, and Daniel knows that. That's why he fell for you in the first place. But no buts. You deserve love. You deserve happiness. You deserve someone who looks at you the way Daniel does, like you hung the moon. Maya squeezed her hands tighter. Don't let fear steal that from you. Don't let your past dictate your future. Tears streamed down Amara's face. What if he doesn't forgive me? Then at least you'll know you tried, but I don't think that's going to happen. Maya pulled her into a hug. I think he's sitting somewhere right now, just as miserable as you, waiting for you to fight for him. Really, really. Now go take a shower, fix your hair, put on something that makes you feel confident. Maya pulled back and smiled. Then go get your man. Amara drove to the pier first, the place where they'd had coffee, where he'd held her hand. But Daniel wasn't there. She tried the boardwalk next, walked the entire length searching every bench and shop, asked the woman at the ice cream stand if she'd seen him. Tall guy, brown hair, writes in notebooks. The woman shook her head. Sorry, honey. Haven't seen him today. Amara's chest tightened with panic. What if he'd already left town? What if she was too late? She pulled out her phone and called Maya. Any luck? Maya answered. No, he's not at any of our spots. Did you try his apartment? I don't want to just show up there. What if... Stop overthinking, just go. Amara drove to his building, climbed the stairs to his floor, her heart hammered with each step. She knocked on his door. No answer. She knocked again, harder. Daniel, are you there? Silence. She pressed her forehead against the door. Please, she whispered. Please, be here. But he wasn't. Amara sat down in the hallway, back against his door. Maybe she'd wait. Maybe he'd come home eventually. 20 minutes passed. Then 30. Her hope started fading. She was about to give up when she heard footsteps on the stairs, but it wasn't Daniel. It was Evelyn Hart. Daniel's mother stopped when she saw Amara sitting on the floor. Her expression was unreadable. Mrs. Hart. Amara scrambled to her feet. I'm looking for Daniel. He's not here. I know. I just thought... She trailed off. I'm sorry. I'll go. Wait. Evelyn's voice was softer than Amara had ever heard it. Why are you looking for him? Because I messed up, because I hurt him, because I need to tell him that I'm sorry and that I... She took a breath. That I love him. Evelyn studied her for a long moment. You hurt my son. I know. I didn't mean to, but I did. And I'll do anything to make it right. He called me 3 days ago, said he was thinking about leaving town, getting away from everything. Evelyn crossed her arms. I told him he'd be making a mistake. Hope flickered in Amara's chest. You did? I was wrong about you. Evelyn's voice cracked slightly. I thought you'd break his heart, thought you were just another person who'd hurt him, but I see now that you're hurting too. That you're both just scared kids trying to figure out how to love without getting destroyed. I am scared, Amara admitted. I'm terrified, but I'm more scared of losing him. Good. That's what I needed to hear. Evelyn pulled out her phone. He's at the old lighthouse, north end of the beach. He goes there when he needs to think. Thank you. Amara started toward the stairs, then turned back. Mrs. Hart, I'm sorry I wasn't what you wanted for him, but I promise I'll try to be what he needs. Just love him. That's all any mother wants. Evelyn's eyes were wet. And let him love you back. The lighthouse stood tall and white against the darkening sky. Waves crashed against the rocks below. The wind whipped Amara's hair around her face. She saw him standing at the edge of the cliff, hands in his pockets, looking out at the endless ocean. Her feet moved before her brain caught up. She crossed the grass, her heart in her throat. Daniel, he turned. Surprise flickered across his face. Then something else. Something that looked like relief mixed with pain. Amara, his voice was rough. What are you doing here? I came to find you, to talk, to... She stopped a few feet away. To fight for you. Fight for me? Yes. Because I've been an idiot. Because I let fear control me. Because I almost lost the best thing that's ever happened to me. The words tumbled out fast and desperate. I don't have ties to Marcus. I don't want him. I want you. Daniel didn't say anything, just watched her with those green eyes. I know I messed up, Amara continued. Her voice trembled. I should have walked away the second he sat down. I should have called you immediately. I should have... Why didn't you? Because part of me thought he was right, that I'd eventually push you away, that I'm broken or damaged or not capable of the kind of love you deserve. Tears streamed down her face. But I was wrong. He was wrong. I'm not broken. I'm just scared. And being scared doesn't mean I can't love you. The wind howled around them, the ocean roared below. Say something, she pleaded. Please. I've been standing here for 3 days, Daniel said quietly, trying to figure out if I was making a mistake, if I should just let you go and protect myself. Her heart sank. And I kept coming back to that first night on the plane, when you fell asleep on my shoulder, how peaceful you looked, how right it felt. He took a step closer. I wrote that note because I believed in chance, in accidents, in things that aren't planned but still matter. I believe in that too. Do you? Because it seemed like the moment things got hard, you retreated, built your walls back up. You're right, I did. She wiped her eyes. But I'm here now. I'm not running. I'm not hiding. I'm standing in front of you, terrified out of my mind, telling you that I want this. I want you. Even though it scares me. Even though I might mess it up. Amara, I'm not done. She stepped closer, closing the distance between them. I've spent years protecting myself, years keeping people at arm's length. But you made me want to try. You made me believe that maybe I could trust someone again, that maybe love doesn't have to end in heartbreak. What are you saying? I'm saying I love you. The words came out clear and strong. I love how patient you've been, how you see through my walls, how you write poetry about feelings I can't even name. I love your smile and your kindness, and the way you make me feel safe. Her voice broke. I love you, Daniel Hart, and I'm so sorry I didn't fight for you sooner. Silence stretched between them. Just the wind and waves and the pounding of her heart. Then Daniel closed the distance. His hands came up to cup her face. His eyes were wet. I've been waiting, he whispered. Waiting for someone who wouldn't run. Someone who'd fight through the fear. Is that what you need, someone who fights? No, he smiled through his tears. I just need you. Scared and brave and imperfect. Just you. He kissed her. It was different from every other kiss. Deeper. More desperate. Like they were both drowning and breathing for the first time. Amara wrapped her arms around his neck and held on tight. She poured everything into that kiss. Her fear, her love, her promise to try. When they finally pulled apart, both were crying. I'm sorry too, Daniel said. I should have trusted you. Should have given you a chance to explain instead of walking away. We both messed up. Yeah, he pressed his forehead to hers. But we're here now. That's what matters. They stood there on the cliff as the sun set behind them. The lighthouse beam started its rotation, sweeping light across the darkening water. I don't want to lose you again, Amara whispered. You won't. I'm not going anywhere. He kissed her forehead. We're in this together now, okay? Okay. They walked back to the car, hand in hand. The weight that had been crushing Amara's chest for days finally lifted. She'd fought for him, and he'd been waiting. Daniel's apartment felt different now. Warmer, more like home. They sat on the couch, legs tangled together, talking until midnight. About everything. About nothing. About the future they might build together. My mom called, Daniel said. Told me she talked to you. She did, told me where to find you. I'm surprised she was so protective at first. She said she was wrong about me. Amara played with his fingers. I think we had a moment. A moment. Yeah, like maybe she actually sees me now, sees that I'm trying. She does. She called after you left and said... He paused, smiled. She said you reminded her of herself. Strong and scared at the same time. Really, really. I think you won her over. Amara's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen. Marcus again from a different number. Without hesitation, she declined the call, blocked the number, looked Daniel straight in the eye. I'm done with him, she said firmly. Completely done. No more doubts. No more looking back. I believe you. She pulled up Marcus's contact, the original one she'd blocked, and hit delete. Watched his name disappear from her phone. There, she said. Gone. Daniel pulled her close and kissed the top of her head. I'm proud of you. For deleting a contact. For choosing yourself. For choosing us. They fell asleep on the couch that night, wrapped up in each other, and for the first time in years, Amara slept without nightmares. Sunday afternoon, Daniel took Amara back to his mother's house. Evelyn answered the door with a genuine smile this time, not polite and distant, actually warm. "Amara, come in." They sat in the living room again, but this time felt different. Evelyn poured tea and actually asked Amara questions, like she cared about the answers. "Daniel tells me you found him at the lighthouse," Evelyn said. "I did. Thank you for telling me where he was." "I should thank you. You reminded me of something I'd forgotten." Evelyn set down her cup. "When Daniel's father and I first met, I was so guarded. My family didn't approve. They thought he wasn't good enough, too different from us, too unpredictable." Amara glanced at Daniel. He looked surprised. His mother rarely talked about his father. "I almost let them convince me to walk away," Evelyn continued. "But he fought for me, showed up at my parents' house and told them he loved me, that he'd prove himself worthy." Her eyes grew distant with memory. "He did prove it, every day until he died." "I didn't know that story," Daniel said softly. "I was scared too, Amara. Scared of trusting him, scared of disappointing my family, scared of loving someone so fully." Evelyn's voice thickened. "But he was worth the risk, the greatest love of my life." She reached across and took Amara's hand. "I see that same fear in you, that same courage, and I was wrong to judge you for it." Evelyn's eyes were wet. "My son loves you, and after watching you fight for him, I can see why. You're exactly what he needs." "Thank you," Amara whispered. "That means everything. Just promise me something." Evelyn squeezed her hand. "Take care of each other. Love isn't always easy. Sometimes it's messy and hard and scary, but it's worth it, always worth it. I promise." Evelyn pulled her into a hug, a real hug, the kind that said, "You're family now." When they left an hour later, Amara felt lighter, like another weight had lifted from her shoulders. "Your mom is incredible," she said as they drove home. "She really is." Daniel glanced over. "I'm glad you got to see that side of her." "Me too." 2 weeks later, Amara woke to Daniel gently shaking her shoulder. "Hey," he whispered, "I have something for you." She blinked awake. Morning light filtered through his bedroom curtains. "What time is it?" "Early, but I couldn't wait." He handed her a folded piece of paper. Her heart skipped. Another note. She opened it carefully. His handwriting filled the page. "This time I'm not letting you disappear. You walked into my life by accident, but I'm keeping you on purpose. Through the fear and the fights and whatever comes next. You're mine, and I'm yours. Forever starts now." Daniel, tears filled her eyes. "Daniel, I mean it." He brushed hair from her face. "I want forever with you, however that looks, wherever that takes us. Forever is a long time, not long enough." She kissed him, long and slow and full of promise. "I love you," she said against his lips. "I love you too." They stayed in bed for another hour, talking, kissing, making plans for the future. "Let's take a trip," Daniel said suddenly. "Where?" "Anywhere. Italy, Paris. Somewhere we can get lost together." "That sounds perfect." She traced patterns on his chest. "But right now, I'm exactly where I want to be." "Yeah?" "Yeah." 6 months later, they stood in the airport again, full circle, back where it started. But this time was different. This time Amara wasn't running away from anything. She was running toward something, toward adventure, toward love, toward the life they were building together. They'd booked 2 weeks in Italy, Rome, Florence, the coast, all the places she'd dreamed about. "Ready?" Daniel asked, pulling their boarding passes from his bag. So ready. They made their way through security, through the terminal, to their gate. The flight was called. They boarded together, found their seats, middle and window this time. Amara settled in by the window. Daniel took the middle seat and immediately opened his notebook. "What are you writing?" she asked. "A new poem, about coming home." "But we're leaving." "No." He looked at her with those green eyes that still made her heart race. "I found home 6 months ago on a plane, been carrying it with me ever since." She leaned over and kissed him, right there in front of everyone, because she didn't care who saw, didn't care what anyone thought. She loved him, and that was all that mattered. The plane took off, climbed through clouds, leveled out at cruising altitude. Amara rested her head on Daniel's shoulder, this time deliberately, this time with intention. He smiled and wrapped his arm around her. "Comfortable?" he asked. "Perfect." Halfway through the flight, she felt him slip something into her hand, another note. She opened it quietly. One word, forever. She tucked it safely into her purse with all the others, a collection of moments, of promises, of love that started by accident but became the most intentional thing in her life. "Forever," she whispered back. Daniel kissed the top of her head. "Forever." The Italian coast stretched below them as they descended. Blue water meeting golden cliffs. Little towns dotted the hillsides like scattered jewels. "It's beautiful," Amara breathed, "just like I imagined." They landed, collected their bags, stepped out into warm Italian air. Everything felt possible. The whole world spread out before them like a gift. Daniel grabbed her hand as they walked through the airport. "You know what I was thinking?" "What?" "About that first note I wrote you. About journeys starting by accident." "Yeah? I was wrong." He stopped and turned to face her. "This wasn't an accident. This was fate. Destiny. Whatever you want to call it." He cupped her face. "You were always supposed to fall asleep on my shoulder. I was always supposed to write that note. We were always supposed to find each other. You really believe that?" "I do. Don't you?" Amara thought about everything that had led them here. The turbulence, the note, the coffee, the fights, the tears, the lighthouse, the choice to love despite the fear. "Yeah," she said, "I do." They kissed in the middle of the arrivals hall. People streamed around them. Announcements echoed overhead. The world kept moving, but they stood still, wrapped up in each other, in the love they'd fought for, in the future they were building together. When they finally pulled apart, both were smiling. "Ready for our adventure?" Daniel asked. "With you? Always." They walked hand in hand into the Italian sunshine, into the unknown, into whatever came next, together, because that's what mattered, not the destination, not the plan, just the choice to keep choosing each other, every day, through fear and joy and everything in between. Love didn't always arrive with a plan. Sometimes it came in turbulence and folded notes and moments that felt like accidents. But the best accidents were the ones you chose to keep, the ones you fought for, the ones you transformed into forever. And as Amara looked at Daniel, at the man who'd seen her walls and loved her anyway, she knew she'd made the right choice. She'd taken the risk. She'd opened her heart, and she'd found home, not in a place, but in a person, in him. Rome smelled like espresso and ancient stone. Amara and Daniel walked hand in hand through narrow cobblestone streets. The morning sun painted everything gold. Church bells rang in the distance. Vespers zipped past, their engines buzzing like angry bees. "I can't believe we're actually here," Amara said, stopping to look up at a terracotta building covered in ivy. "Believe it." Daniel pulled out his camera and snapped a photo of her. "This is real. We're real." They'd been in Italy for 3 days. 3 perfect days of pasta and wine and getting lost in alleyways that all looked the same. 3 days of sleeping in late and making love in the afternoon light. 3 days of being completely and utterly happy. "Where to next?" Amara asked. "The Trevi Fountain. We have to throw coins in and make wishes." "What are you going to wish for?" "Can't tell you. Then it won't come true." They walked for 20 minutes, following the flow of tourists and the sound of rushing water. When they turned the final corner, Amara gasped. The fountain was massive, white marble carved into gods and horses and flowing water. Hundreds of people crowded around it, taking photos and tossing coins over their shoulders. "It's beautiful," she breathed. Daniel handed her a coin. "Ready? What's the tradition again?" 1 coin means you'll return to Rome. 2 coins means you'll find love. 3 coins means you'll get married. Amara's heart skipped. "How many are you throwing?" "Just watch." They turned their backs to the fountain. Daniel counted to 3. They both threw their coins over their shoulders at the same time. Amara turned around quickly. "How many did you throw?" 3. His smile was soft. "Definitely 3. Her breath caught. "Daniel, I'm not proposing. Not yet." He pulled her close. "But I want you to know that's where this is heading. When the time is right. When we're both ready." "I threw 3 too," she admitted. His eyes widened. "Really?" "Really." She went up on her toes and kissed him. "Someday, when we're ready. Someday soon, I hope." They spent the rest of the day exploring. The Colosseum, the Pantheon, tiny gelato shops where Amara tried every flavor they offered. Daniel took photos of everything. Buildings, food, strangers, and mostly Amara. "You're going to fill your entire camera with pictures of me," she teased. "That's the plan." As the sun set, they found themselves on a bridge overlooking the Tiber River. The water reflected the pink and orange sky. Street musicians played nearby. The whole city felt alive with magic. "Tell me something," Daniel said, leaning against the railing. "If you could go back and change anything about how we met, would you?" Amara thought about it. The turbulence, the embarrassment, the fear, all of it. "No," she said finally. "Not a single thing. Not even Marcus showing up. Not even that. Because it forced us to fight for this. to prove we were stronger than our fears. She turned to face him. Everything happened exactly how it needed to. I love the way you see things now. How you've grown. We've both grown. They stood there in comfortable silence, watching the river flow beneath them. A couple walked past, arguing in rapid Italian. A group of teenagers laughed and took selfies. Life continued all around them, but in that moment nothing existed except the two of them. Florence was different from Rome. Smaller, more intimate, the kind of city where you could get lost and not mind at all. They stayed in a small hotel near the Duomo. Every morning Amara woke to the sound of church bells and Daniel's steady breathing beside her. Today, Daniel announced over breakfast, we're seeing art. All the art. All of it. They spent hours in the Uffizi gallery, walked past paintings that Amara had only seen in textbooks. Botticelli's Venus, Caravaggio's dramatic shadows, Michelangelo's powerful figures. I wish I could paint like this, she said, staring at a particular piece. A mother holding her child, both their faces full of such tender love. You don't need to paint. You create in different ways. Marketing campaigns aren't exactly art. Maybe not. But you help people tell their stories. That's its own kind of creation. He squeezed her hand. Besides, I've seen your notes. You doodle in the margins. Little flowers and stars. You've been spying on my notes. Observing. There's a difference. She laughed and pulled him toward the next room. Later they climbed to the top of the Duomo. 463 steps. Amara counted every one. By the time they reached the top, both were breathing hard and laughing, but the view was worth it. Florence spread out below them in every direction. Red-tiled roofs, the green river, hills in the distance covered in vineyards and olive groves. This is incredible, Amara said, gripping the railing. It is. But Daniel was looking at her, not the view. What? Nothing. Just memorizing this moment. Why? Because someday we'll be old, sitting on a porch somewhere, and I'll want to remember exactly how you looked right now. Wind in your hair, smile on your face, completely and perfectly happy. Tears pricked her eyes. You make me happy. You know that. Good. That's the only job that matters. They kissed there at the top of the world, and Amara felt something shift inside her. The last bit of wall crumbling, the final piece of armor falling away. She was completely open now, completely vulnerable, and it didn't scare her anymore. That night they had dinner at a small trattoria recommended by their hotel owner. Just 6 tables. A grandmother cooking in the back, her grandson serving wine. The pasta was homemade, the wine was local. Everything tasted like love and tradition and time. I could stay here forever, Amara said, twirling spaghetti around her fork. Why don't we? What? Stay. Not forever, but longer. Extend our trip, see more. Daniel leaned forward. I'm freelance. You can work remotely. What's stopping us? Money, responsibility, real life. Real life can wait 2 more weeks, can't it? Amara thought about her apartment, her routine, the life she'd go back to. It would all still be there. But this adventure, this joy, this feeling of being completely alive, might not come again for a long time. Okay, she said. Let's stay. Daniel's face lit up. Really? Really? Let's see where this takes us. They extended their hotel booking that night, sent emails to work explaining they'd be gone longer. Maya responded to Amara with approximately 50 exclamation points and 3 heart emojis. Living your best life, Maya texted. I'm so proud of you. Amara smiled at her phone. A year ago, she never would have made this choice. Never would have chosen spontaneity over security, adventure over safety. But Daniel had changed her. Or maybe he just helped her become who she was always meant to be. They rented a car and drove through Tuscany, past vineyards and sunflower fields and medieval towns perched on hilltops. They stopped whenever something caught their eye, ate lunch at roadside cafes, got lost on dirt roads and didn't care. This is what life should feel like, Amara said, her feet up on the dashboard as Daniel drove. Free, easy, full of possibility. It can feel like this more often. We just have to choose it. Choose what? Adventure, joy, each other. He glanced over. When we get home, let's not lose this. Let's keep choosing the unexpected. Deal. They spent the night in a tiny village called Montepulciano. Their room overlooked rolling hills that seemed to stretch forever. They made love as the sun set, then lay tangled together in the golden light. Tell me your dreams, Daniel said, tracing circles on her shoulder. Not the polite ones you tell at job interviews. The real ones, the scary ones. Amara thought about it, really thought. I want to build something of my own, she said finally. Not just help other people with their businesses. I want to create something that matters. Maybe a consulting firm that helps women entrepreneurs, especially women of color who don't always get the same opportunities. That's beautiful. It's terrifying. Starting something from scratch. The risk of failure. But also the possibility of success. He kissed her forehead. I believe in you. Whatever you want to build, I'll help you build it. What about your dreams? I want to publish a book of poetry, not just articles online. A real book that people can hold. He paused. And I want a family. Someday. Kids running around. A house full of noise and love and chaos. With me? Only with you. Amara's chest tightened with emotion. I want that too. Maybe not right away, but someday. Someday is enough. They fell asleep wrapped up in each other, dreaming of the future they'd build together. The Amalfi Coast took Amara's breath away. Cliffs dropped straight into turquoise water. Lemon trees grew everywhere. Houses painted in pastels clung to the hillsides like they were defying gravity. They stayed in Positano. Their hotel room had a balcony overlooking the sea. Every morning they drank coffee and watched boats cut through the water far below. I don't want to leave, Amara said on their second morning there. We still have 5 more days. It's not enough. Daniel set down his coffee cup. Then let's come back. Make it a tradition. Every year, we come to Italy, see new places, revisit old ones. Every year? Every year, if you'll have me. Of course I'll have you. She moved to sit in his lap. Every year, every day, every moment. He kissed her slowly, deeply, the kind of kiss that said, this is forever. They spent their days exploring, hiking the path of the gods, a trail that wound along the cliffs with views that didn't seem real, swimming in hidden coves, eating at restaurants where the only menu was whatever the chef decided to make that day. One afternoon, they rented a boat and went out on the water alone. Daniel cut the engine far from shore. They floated in the vast blue, nothing but sky and sea around them. I need to tell you something, Amara said, trailing her hand in the water. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong, everything's right, that's what I need to tell you. She looked at him. I've never been this happy, never felt this safe, this loved, this whole. Me neither. When I met you, I was so broken, so convinced I'd never trust anyone again. You weren't broken. You were protecting yourself. Same thing, maybe, she smiled. But you showed me that walls don't keep you safe. They keep you alone. And I don't want to be alone anymore. Daniel pulled her close. The boat rocked gently beneath them. You'll never be alone again, he promised. I'm here for all of it. The good days and the hard days and everything in between. Even when I'm difficult. Especially then. They floated there for hours. Talking, dreaming, planning. By the time they returned to shore, the sun was setting. That night, they had dinner at a restaurant built into the cliffs. Their table overlooked the sea. Candles flickered in the warm breeze. Stars began appearing overhead. Amara, Daniel said after the waiter brought their wine. Something in his voice made her look up. He was nervous. Actually nervous. She could see it in the way he fidgeted with his napkin. What's wrong? Nothing. He took a breath. I had this whole plan. Was going to wait until we got home, do something big and romantic. Her heart started racing. Daniel, but I can't wait. I don't want to wait. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box. Amara's hands flew to her mouth. I know it's fast, he said quickly. I know we've only been together for 6 months. But when you know, and I know. He opened the box. A simple gold band with a small diamond. Nothing flashy. Perfect. Amara Lewis, will you marry me? Tears streamed down her face. Her whole body shook with emotion. Yes, she whispered. Yes, 1,000 times. Yes. He slipped the ring on her finger. It fit perfectly, like it had been made for her, like everything had been leading to this moment. They kissed across the table. The other diners applauded. The waiter brought champagne on the house. Everything felt like a dream. I love you, Amara said through tears. I love you so much. I love you too. Always have. Always will. They barely touched their food, too busy staring at each other, too overwhelmed with joy to think about anything else. Later, back in their room, Amara couldn't stop looking at the ring. It's beautiful, she said for the 100th time. It was my grandmother's. Mom gave it to me before we left. Daniel wrapped his arms around her from behind. She said it was meant for someone special, someone who'd fight for me the way Grandma fought for Grandpa. I'll always fight for you. I know, that's why you're wearing that ring. They made love slowly that night, tenderly. like they were sealing a promise, binding themselves together in ways deeper than words. And when Amara finally fell asleep, engaged to the man who'd seen her walls and loved her anyway, she felt completely at peace. Their last full day in Italy, they returned to Rome, walked the same streets they'd walked 2 weeks before. But everything felt different now. They weren't just tourists anymore. They were a couple planning a future, building a life. "We should set a date," Daniel said as they sat on the Spanish steps eating gelato. "How about next summer? Gives us time to plan. Save money. Next summer sounds perfect." He kissed her temple. "Small wedding or big?" "Small. Just family and close friends. Maya as my maid of honor. Your mum and some relatives." "What about your mum?" Amara paused. She hadn't talked to her mother much lately. Their relationship was complicated, loving but distant. "I'll call her when we get home," she said. "Tell her everything, about you, about us, about how I'm finally happy. She's going to love me, obviously. Everyone loves you." They finished their gelato and walked to the Trevi fountain one last time. It was crowded again, tourists everywhere, but Amara didn't mind. She pulled out 3 more coins. Daniel did the same. "For good measure," he said. They threw their coins together, made their wishes, sealed their future. The flight home felt different. Amara wasn't sad to leave. She was excited to return, to start planning, to tell everyone their news. She kept looking at her ring, couldn't believe it was real. "No second thoughts?" Daniel asked, holding her hand. "Not even a little bit." "Good, because you're stuck with me now. Best decision I ever made." Halfway through the flight, Amara rested her head on Daniel's shoulder, just like that first night. But everything had changed. She wasn't running from anything anymore. She was running toward everything, toward love, toward family, toward the life they'd built together. "What are you thinking about?" Daniel asked softly. "That first note you wrote me, about journeys starting by accident. Yeah? I think you were right the first time. This did start by accident." She lifted her head to look at him, but it became something we chose. Every day, through every fear and fight and moment of doubt, we chose each other. "And we'll keep choosing each other. Forever," she promised. "Forever," he agreed. They landed in the early morning. The airport was quiet. Just a few travelers shuffling through the terminals. Maya was waiting outside arrivals, practically vibrating with excitement. "Let me see it," she shrieked the moment Amara walked out. Amara held up her hand. The ring caught the light. Maya screamed, actually screamed. Several people turned to stare. "I'm getting married." Amara laughed through happy tears. "You're getting married." Maya pulled her into a crushing hug, then turned to Daniel. "You better treat her right. Every day for the rest of my life." "Good answer." They drove to Amara's apartment, stayed up until noon talking and planning and dreaming. Maya offered to help with everything. The venue, the dress, the flowers, all of it. "I can't believe you're engaged," Maya said for the 20th time. "A year ago you were convinced you'd be alone forever." "I was wrong." "Yeah, you were." Maya squeezed her hand. "I'm so happy for you, Amara. You deserve this. You deserve all of it." That evening, Amara video called her mother. "Baby!" Her mum's face filled the screen, warm brown eyes, grey starting to thread through her dark hair. "I've missed you. I've missed you too, Mama. Tell me everything about Italy. I want all the details." They talked for 20 minutes about the trip, the food, the art, the beautiful coastline. Then Amara took a breath. "Mama, I need to tell you something." "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. Everything's right." She held up her hand, showed the ring. "I'm engaged." Her mother's mouth fell open. Then she started crying. "Oh, baby, oh, my sweet girl." She pressed her hand to the screen like she could touch Amara through it. "Tell me about him. Tell me everything." So Amara did. Talked about the plane, the note, the coffee, the fights and fears and the way Daniel had fought for her. "He sounds wonderful," her mother said through tears. "He is. I wish Daddy could meet him. He would have loved him. I know he would." Her mother wiped her eyes. "When's the wedding?" "Next summer, will you come?" "Baby, I wouldn't miss it for the world." They talked until late, made plans for her mother to visit, to meet Daniel properly, to be part of the wedding planning. When Amara finally hung up, she felt complete. Her past and her future were finally coming together. The next few months flew by in a blur of planning and joy. They set the date, found a venue, a small garden by the beach where they'd had their first real date, sent invitations, picked flowers, tasted cakes. Daniel's poetry book got accepted by a publisher. Amara started the paperwork for her consulting firm. They moved in together, A small house with a yard and a porch. Room to grow. Room to build a family someday. Evelyn helped with everything. She and Amara had grown close. They met for lunch every week, talked about Daniel's childhood, about her late husband, about the future. "You make my son happy," Evelyn said one afternoon over tea. "I see him smile more now than I have in years. He makes me happy too. That's all that matters. Happiness, love, choosing each other even when it's hard. It hasn't been hard lately. It will be sometimes. That's life. But you'll get through it together." The wedding day dawned clear and bright. Amara stood in front of the mirror in her dress. Simple white silk. Nothing too fancy, just elegant and clean. Maya adjusted her veil. "You look beautiful." "I'm nervous." "That's normal. You're getting married. What if I mess this up? What if I'm not a good wife?" "Amara." Maya turned her around. "Stop. You're going to be an amazing wife. You're loyal and strong and loving, and Daniel knows that. That's why he's marrying you." "You're right." "I'm always right." Maya grinned. "Now let's get you married." The ceremony was perfect, small and intimate. Just 30 people, family and close friends. Amara's mother cried through the entire thing. Evelyn held her hand. When Amara walked down the aisle, Daniel's face lit up. He wiped tears from his eyes, mouthed, "You're beautiful." They said their vows under an arch covered in flowers, promised to love through fear and joy, through hard times and good, through everything life would throw at them. "I do," Amara said, her voice strong and sure. "I do," Daniel echoed. "You may kiss your bride." He pulled her close and kissed her. The guests applauded. Someone threw flower petals. And Amara felt like she was flying. The reception was on the beach as the sun set. Dinner and dancing and toasts that made everyone laugh and cry. Maya gave a speech about how scared Amara had been, how far she'd come, how love had transformed her. "To taking chances," Maya said, raising her glass, "to falling asleep on strangers' shoulders, to notes that change your life, to Amara and Daniel, may your love keep growing stronger every single day." Everyone drank, cheered, celebrated. Daniel and Amara's first dance was to a slow song. They swayed together as stars appeared overhead. "How do you feel, Mrs. Hart?" Daniel whispered. "Like the luckiest person alive." "Me too." They danced until late, laughed with friends, thanked everyone for coming. And when the night finally ended, they drove to their new home as husband and wife. 6 months later, Amara sat at her desk in her new office. Her consulting firm was growing. She'd already signed 5 clients. All women entrepreneurs who needed help getting their businesses off the ground. It was hard work, long hours, but she loved it. Loved helping people chase their dreams. Daniel's book had been published. Sales were good. He was working on a second one, this time about love and transformation. They'd settled into married life easily. Morning coffee together, evening walks, lazy Sunday mornings in bed. They still had hard days, days when fear crept back in, when old wounds tried to reopen. But they talked through it, fought for each other, chose love over fear every single time. "You almost done?" Daniel appeared in the doorway. "Dinner's ready." "Almost." She saved her work and stood, stretched. "What did you make?" "Pasta. Trying to recreate that place in Florence." "Did it work? You'll have to tell me." They ate dinner on the porch, watched the sunset paint the sky in impossible colors, held hands across the table. "I have news," Amara said. "Good news or bad news?" "Good news, great news, actually." She took a breath. "I'm pregnant." Daniel's fork clattered to his plate. His eyes went wide. "You're pregnant?" "About 6 weeks." He stood so fast his chair tipped over, came around the table and pulled her into his arms. "We're having a baby," he whispered. "We're having a baby." They held each other as the sun disappeared, as stars began appearing, as their future expanded in ways they'd only dreamed about. "I love you," Daniel said into her hair. "I love you too. So much." 1 year later, Amara sat in the rocking chair by the window. Her daughter, 3 months old, perfect and tiny, slept in her arms. Outside, spring was blooming, trees full of flowers, grass turning green, the world coming alive again. Daniel appeared in the doorway. "How's our girl?" "Sleeping. Finally." He came over and kissed them both. "You're amazing. You know that? Tell me again when she's screaming at 2 in the morning. Even then, they stood there together, a family, complete. Later, after the baby was fed and changed and sleeping in her crib, Amara found Daniel in his study. He was writing in his notebook, the same one from that first night on the plane. "What are you working on?" she asked. "Something for her." He showed her the page. You came from love born by accident, from walls that crumbled into trust, from fear that transformed into courage, from two hearts that learned they must choose each other daily, fiercely. Through the storms and sunny days, love isn't found, it's built and tended. In 10,000 ordinary ways, Amara's eyes filled with tears. That's beautiful. It's for her baby book. So she knows how we started, how we fought for this. She's lucky to have you as a dad. We're both lucky. He pulled her into his lap, all three of us. They sat there in the quiet, their daughter sleeping down the hall, their future stretching out before them, imperfect and beautiful and real. Love hadn't arrived with a plan. It had come in turbulence and accidents and moments of fear, but they'd chosen it anyway, chose each other anyway. And that choice, that daily, courageous choice, had built something stronger than either of them could have imagined. A home, a family, a love that would last forever. 10 years later, Amara stood in the airport with their 3 children, 2 girls and a boy, all excited about the trip ahead. "Mommy, will Italy have good pizza?" their youngest asked. "The best pizza in the world." Daniel came back from the check-in counter with boarding passes. "All set, gate 22. They made their way through security, through the busy terminal. The kids ran ahead, full of energy and wonder. "Remember the first time we flew together?" Daniel asked. "How could I forget? I fell asleep on your shoulder. Best accident of my life." They boarded the plane, got the kids settled. Daniel took the middle seat. Amara took the window. Halfway through the flight, their youngest daughter climbed into her lap, curled up and fell asleep. Amara looked over at Daniel. He was helping their son with a coloring book, patient and kind. The same man who'd written her that first note, who'd fought for her, who'd built this life with her. He looked up and caught her staring. "What?" he mouthed. "I love you," she mouthed back. "I love you more." Their oldest daughter rolled her eyes. "You guys are so mushy." "Just wait," Daniel said. "Someday you'll understand." "I doubt it." But Amara knew better. Someday her daughter would find her own love story, her own journey from fear to courage, her own person to choose every day, and she hoped it would be just as beautiful as this. The plane leveled out at cruising altitude. Italy waited ahead, adventure and joy and all the memories they'd make together. Amara closed her eyes and smiled, grateful for every moment that had led here, every fear she'd faced, every wall she'd let crumble, because on the other side of fear was this, was love, was family, was home, and it was worth it, all of it, forever, and it